Iba sojo, Iba, Iba le, Iba, Iba sojo, Iba, Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Eshu Iba le, Iba sojo, Iba la roye, Baba Iba le. Peace. Peace and love to the family. This is DarusCorbin reporting live. I welcome you all to the DarusCorbin Mystery School. This is the home of the esoteric and metaphysical knowledge. To my elite enlightened ones, it's always a pleasure. Y'all know what it is. And even to my first time viewers, thank you so much for your time. It's going to be an amazing presentation. The title of this will be called The Mayans and the Masters of Time. Before I get started, first of all, I want to thank you, the viewer. Once again, this is the Mystery School, the home of the esoteric knowledge. I'm giving you the spiritual gnosis, the wisdom that we may have missed growing up, that our churches may have skipped out on. This is the Mystery School channel, where you, not as just the flesh, but as the soul, as that divine spark. We are in the age of Aquarius now, my beautiful people, and it is time for you to know and realize and to wake up to know how great you are. The wonderful music. I want to give a shout out to the Yoruba tribe, to the Orishas tribe. Tonight we'll be going deep into our ancestry, shouting out the spiritual in the purest form. You know, growing up, and even now, you hear people say, man, time is going by quick. Man, time sure is shortened. You may have said this yourself. I heard people along the way speak of this, how time seems like it's just going by so fast, almost to the point. I don't know if you can agree with me or not, folks. It's almost feel like time doesn't even matter anymore. Well, this presentation is not just about the Mayans, it's about the masters of time. And we give a lot of credit nowadays to scientists. They discovered a lot. Technology has brought us away, a mighty way, yes. But before technology was as powerful as it is now, our ancestors, thousands, tens of thousands, millions years ago, had knowledge beyond what we know today. And some of that knowledge is documented, some of it is not. Libraries like Alexandria in Egypt held knowledge that we couldn't even imagine. There were leftover scrolls and papyrus that were left over, but that library was burnt down by the ops, as you guys say. That library had so much knowledge. But tonight, we're going to be learning about the true reason why time is going so fast. Well, a day can just go by, next thing you know, it's nighttime. Next day is coming, which is shorter than the last, than the day next, even shorter than that previous day. See, the Mayans
the Olmecs, and the Toltecs, along with the Egyptians, along with the Dogon tribe, which we're going to read about in just a minute. These ancestors, my beautiful people who's watching, they knew without the technology that we have nowadays, they knew before the scientists did what was truly going on, what was truly out there, and most importantly, my family that's watching, who we truly were inside, within us, not just the flesh. Because now, at this time of living in this planet Earth, we must understand as soul beings that we are more than the flesh. Our story starts with the inner divine spark, who we are previously before we came to this planet. So, once again, I want to thank my beautiful viewers for watching, for taking the time. This is the DarusCorbin Mystery School. This evening's title, The Mayans and the Masters of Time. Of course, as you should already know, family, make sure you got a pen. Make sure you have a pad because once again, class is now in session. Now, like I said a while ago, folks, let me take these glasses off, put my eyes on. Now, like I said before, a lot of what we know today about life, about the economy, about just the world in general, comes from scientists. We were taught in school the planets, how they aligned, the universe, based on what the scientists said. But my question to you tonight is, who did the scientists learn it from? Where did they get the information to tell us this? Is it just technology? That was it? We're just going to credit machines for everything. So I'm going to read this right quick. The Dogon tribe. Now, some of you know about the Dogon tribe. They were a tribe in Africa. I'm going to spell this. Dogon, the Dogon tribe. The Dogon tribe are our ancient African ancestors. I want you to do your research right after this video on the Dogon tribe. A few European Westerners went out there many years ago. We're going to find out soon. And they were asking this tribe, this tribe that they thought didn't have too much intellect, hunter and gatherers. You know how the stereotypes are when they go to Africa, and this Western civilization has stereotype over there. But anyway, these Westerners go over there in Africa and ask these Dogon tribes questions about the stars, their origins, and what they believe in. And to make a story short right quick, they told them about star Sirius B, the invisible planet, before scientists even discovered it. And when asking the Dogon tribe how did they get this information about the planets aligning and about the Sirius B star, they said that their ancestors from Sirius B came down themselves. These amphibian fish-like beings came down from the star system B and gave them this information. Now, I know this may be sounding crazy, but that's why this is the DarusCorbin Mystery School, and my job is to break it down just a little bit more clear. So, are you ready? Thank you for your patience. We're only 8 minutes in. The Dogon are a tribe, and once again, that's Dogon, the Dogon tribe. The Dogon tribe are a tribe living in Mali in West Africa. Listen up. According to one of their legends, a race called the Nomos, got your pen? That's Nommos. Make sure you write that down. According to one of their legends, a race called the Nomos visited the Earth from the star Sirius. That's Sirius, just like the radio or the satellite station from XM, Sirius. According to one of their legends, a race called the Nomos visited the Earth from the star Sirius thousands of years ago. The Nomos were ugly, amphibious beings, and their words, not mine. To all my ancestors in star Sirius B, their words, not mine. They say the Nomos were ugly, amphibious beings. The Dogon learned from the Nomos that there were a companion star, which was Sirius B, orbiting the main star. This legend supposedly goes back hundreds of years. Listen, in 1970, scientists discovered there was indeed a Sirius B, though they had suspected its existence for over a century. Now let me just go back right quick, family, and make sense of all this. Once again, we give a lot of credit to science and the discoveries that science have brought to us. But what we fail to do and to recognize are our ancient ancestors who had the same knowledge for over thousands and thousands of years. They get discredited while scientists get all the credit, right? So now we are hearing, and maybe some of you are hearing for the first time, about the Dogon tribe, a tribe living in Mali, West Africa. According to one of their legends, a race called the Nomos, and that's Nommos, visited the Earth from the star Sirius thousands of years ago, and that's Sirius. They were amphibious beings, fish-like beings. The Dogon learned from the Nomos that there was a companion star which was called Sirius B, orbiting the main star. This legend supposedly goes back hundreds of years. Now, in 1970, scientists discovered there was indeed a Sirius B, though they had suspected its existence for over a century. So these people went to Africa and to talk to the Dogon tribe. The Dogon told them, listen, this is what it was hundreds of years before these scientists could look through the telescope and confirm it. The Dogon tribe says that we learned this from our ancestors, the Nomos, that come from another planet, another star system. And it's invisible to see with the naked eye. Let's continue going on. This led K.G. Temple to argue in his book, The Sirius Mystery, that the legend must be true and aliens visit the Dogon. Skeptics argue that the Dogon incorporated this new information into older legends and that the Sirius system is a very unlikely place to support life. There's always going to be disputers, there's always going to be debaters. Nothing wrong with it. But let's face the facts and continue going on, because I haven't even touched the Mayans, family. Let's keep it going. In Mali, West Africa, lives a tribe of people called the Dogon. Once again, that's Dogon. To my people, these are your ancestors. Make sure you are studying your ancestors. You never know where you're going unless you know exactly. The Dogon are believed to be of Egyptian descent, and their astronomical lore goes back thousands of years to 3200 BC. According to their traditions, the star Sirius has a companion star which is invisible to the human eye. This companion star has a 50-year elliptical orbit around the visible Sirius and is extremely heavy. It also rotates on its axis. This legend might be of little interest to anybody, but the two French anthropologists Marcel Grilou, and that's Griaule, and Germain Dietrien, and that's spelled Dieterlen, who recorded it from the four Dogon priests in the 1930s. And let me read that again. This legend might be of little interest to anybody, but the two French anthropologists Marcel and Germain, who recorded it from the four Dogon priests in the 1930s. And that's doggone, not like doggone. But anyway, the four Dogon priests in the 1930s. Of little interest, except that it is exactly true, how did a people who lack any kind of astronomical devices know so much about an invisible star? The star which scientists call Sirius B wasn't even photographed until it was done by a large telescope in 1970. Okay, in 14 minutes, my family, my elite and light ones, I know y'all with me, so I want to make this make sense. And I want y'all to we putting on our thinking caps right now. I'm grabbing my tea right quick, but as I grab my tea, I want y'all to just think about everything I said so far. This is class. The Dogon tribe, which is an ancient tribe in West Africa, had these people come, these Europeans come, ask them questions about their life, their origins, their belief, and they told them that there's an invisible star orbiting around Sirius A. They told them that they learned this from their ancestors from another planet called the Nomos. This other planet is Sirius B. Scientists later on, with their telescopes, now with technology, discovered that to be true. So I hope you guys are with me this far. I promise you, we haven't even touched the Mayans yet. So you know how good this is going to be. Let's continue on. I'm going to read that part again. This legend might be of little interest to anybody, but the two French anthropologists, Marcel and Germain, who recorded it from 4 doggone priests in the 1930s, of little interest except that it is exactly true. How did a people who lack any kind of astronomical devices know so much about an invisible star? The star, which scientists call Sirius B, wasn't even photographed until it was done by a large telescope in 1970. Let's continue. The doggone stories explain that also, according to their oral traditions, the doggone stories explain that also, according to their oral traditions, a race people from the Sirius system called the Nomos visit Earth thousands of years ago. Once again, the Nomos were amphibious beings that resemble mermen and mermaids. They also appeared in Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian myths. Huh? Oh, I don't mind reading that again. Of course, you know I'm always trying to make it make sense to my beautiful people, the divine sparks. Just want you to make sure that you are. Just want you to know that you are greater, and to make sure every day you wake up ready to win. There we go. Let's read that again. The doggone stories explain that also, according to their oral traditions, that means word by word, word of mouth, continue to pass it on through word of mouth, tradition, generation after generation. According to their oral tradition, a race of people from the Sirius system called the Nomos visited Earth thousands of years ago. The Nomos were amphibious beings that resembled mermen and mermaids. But here's the part, because we never leave the Bible on this mystery school. We never left the Bible. But listen to what it says. They also appear in Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian myths. So even going back to a few sentences earlier, when it was like they were trying to bait the Dogon tribe by saying that, you know, they got it from older myths, oral traditions. But the Babylonians, the Akkadians, and the Sumerians all knew about these nomos, these mermen and mermaid looking people. Once again, they also appeared in Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian myths. The Egyptian goddess Isis, who is sometimes depicted as a mermaid, is also linked with the star Sirius. Did you know that? That's a Snapple fact to add on to yourself if you didn't. The Egyptian goddess Isis, who is also sometimes depicted as a mermaid, is also linked with the star Sirius. Let's continue reading because we haven't even begun yet. The Nomos, according to the Dogon legend, lived on a planet that orbits another star in the Sirius system. They landed on Earth in a, and I quote, ark, end quote, A-R-K. Let's read that again. Family, I know you with me. I can feel the energy. The Nomos, according to the Dogon legend, lived on a planet that orbits another star in the Sirius system. They landed on Earth in a ark. A-R-K, quote, end quote, that made a spitting descent to the ground with great noise and wind. It was the Nomos that gave the doggone the knowledge about Sirius B. The legend goes on to say, the Nomos also furnished the doggones with some interesting information about our solar system, that the planet Jupiter had 4 major moons, that Saturn had rings, and that the planets orbit the sun. These were all facts discovered by Westerners only after Galileo invented the telescope. I'm going to read that part again, my beautiful family, and thank you for watching. Let's read that again if you don't mind. The legend goes on to say that the Nomos also furnished the doggones with some interesting information, listen to this, about our solar system. That the planet Jupiter has 4 major moons, that Saturn has rings, and that the planets orbit the sun. These were all facts discovered by Westerners only. These were all facts discovered by the Westerners only after Galileo invented the telescope. So our ancient ancestors, without that technology and without those devices, my family, already knew that. Let's keep on going. The story of the doggone and their legend was first brought to popular attention by Robert K.G. Temple in a book published in 1977 called The Sirius Mystery. Science writer Ian Ridpath and astronomer Carl Sagan made a reply to Temple's book suggesting that this modern knowledge about Sirius must have come from Westerners who discussed astronomy with the doggone priest. Ain't that something? They're trying to take away from the doggone by saying that the doggone tribe, the African, must heard the Westerners, the Europeans, say this first. You can't give credit to none of their ancestors, huh? Damn. The priest then included this new information into the older. Let me read that again. Westerners who discussed astronomy with the doggone priest. Temple's book, Carl Sagan made a reply to Temple's book suggesting that this modern knowledge about Sirius must have come from Westerners who discussed astronomy with the doggone priest. The priest then included this new information into the older traditions. This in turn misled the anthropologist. This is the excuse they're making. But anyway, they say this is a possibility considering Sirius B existence was suspected as early as 1844 and seen was through a telescope in 1862. It doesn't seem to explain a 400-year-old doggone artifact that apparently depicts the Sirius configuration, nor the ceremonies held by the doggone since the 13th century to celebrate the cycle of Sirius A and Sirius B. So let me run that back right quick so we can make that make sense. Even though Carl Sagan and Ian Ridpath are trying to dispute that and say that maybe the doggone tribe heard it from some European Westerners and then they told that through oral tradition, and that's how it got down. They say this is a that may be a possibility, but considering Sirius B's existence was suspected as early as 1844 and seen was through a telescope in 1886. But this is what they say to make that all come back to the truth. It doesn't seem to explain, though, a 400-year-old doggone artifact that apparently depicts the Sirius configuration, nor the ceremonies held by the doggone since the 13th century to celebrate the cycle of Sirius A and B. It also doesn't explain how doggones know about the superdensity of Sirius B, a fact only discovered a few years before the anthropologists recorded the doggone stories. Boom! Don't be trying to doubt them ancestors. What is y'all talking about? Don't be trying to do that. Put some respect on our ancestors' name is what I'm saying. It is also important to remember that although many parts of the doggone legend seem to ring true, other portions are clearly mistaken. One of the doggone's beliefs is that Sirius B occupies the place where our sun is now. Physics clearly prohibit this. Also, if the doggone believe that Sirius B orbits Sirius A every 50 years, why do they hold their celebration every 60 years? So these are some facts. Some disputed, some can't be disputed, but these are some facts. You got to put respect on the ancestor's name. The Australian Aborigines, legends. The Egyptians, legends. The Hindus, legends. The Gnostics, legends. Now, once again, how many of y'all remember 2012? For those who remember, everybody thought that 2012 was going to be the end of the world. The same way they thought that the year 2000 was going to be the year that all technology shut down, computers was going to be a wrap. That was it. 2012, based on the Mayan calendar, everybody thought that the world is a wrap. Forget about it. Like, based on the Mayans' prediction of how 2012 would be. There is nothing after that year. So, what I want to do tonight is give a great explanation based on the knowledge of the Mayans to give you a better understanding why time is moving the way time is moving. Why every time you wake up or at night when you're at your most spiritual zenith, you can almost feel like time doesn't even exist really, like you're in this moment. You should be focusing on the now, not the past, not the future. But at this very moment, you should be focusing on the now and making your life at this very moment great. So if you're ready, we're going to break down the true knowledge esoterically on what 2012 meant. Are you ready? Thank you for your patience. I'm glad you enjoyed those no mold facts. Shout out to the doggone tribe. Y'all ready? Let's go. The Mayan End Times. Oh, please. This is a great book to download, family. The Divine Providence. Birthing New Earth by James McBride and Ed Richcun. Download this. PDF it, but then get the book. I promise you. Thank me later. For those who watching, who get this book, leave me a message on the comment section. You feel me? Let me know what y'all think. The table of contents alone is a problem. So yeah, here we go. This book is a problem in a good way. I got another presentation coming right after this one. Probably the day after this right here. And it's going to be even heavier than this one. And this one's about to be heavy. But are you ready? Peace and love to my family. Let's go. There is a big buzz. There is a big buzz these days on the internet and in bookstores about the Mayan calendar. It is not clearly understood how these Mayans received this information, nor how it applies to humanity now. But nevertheless, is it infusing into the new consciousness as a new truth. It is important to understand that this is not a prophecy of physical doom and destruction. It is a revealing of a process of behavior and evolution of consciousness. Now, family, at 28 minutes, even if you mark this at the starting part of this presentation, it's about to get real. I am speaking to your soul. This is more. You are more than the flesh. It is time for you to listen up. Take notes if you want to. You got the pen and the pad. Class is in session. This is where it's about to get real. I need you to listen up with your heart and the purest of soul. Thank you. There is a big buzz these days on the internet and in bookstores about the Mayan calendar. It is not clearly understood how these Mayans received this information, nor how it applies to humanity now. But nevertheless, it is infusing into the new consciousness as a new truth. It is important to understand that this is not a prophecy of physical doom and destruction. It is a revealing of a process of behavior and evolution of consciousness. Regardless of whether it is of a plant, an animal, or a man, it is the consciousness that orchestrates the will to survive and the life attitude. Regardless of whether it is of plant, animal, or man, it is the consciousness that orchestrates the will to survive and the life attitude. It is particularly focused on the end times as these Mayans allegedly took old ancient knowledge and advanced it as their science. What do a lot of our science do now without even telling you and giving credit? They took old knowledge and advanced it as their science. Let's read that again. It is particularly focused on the end times as these Mayans allegedly took old ancient knowledge and advanced it as their science. First, they were very focused on the cosmic movements. Do you hear me? Listen to what I'm saying. First, the Mayans were focused on the cosmic movements and nature because the sun provided light for life to exist. As the earth provided nourishment to grow, the planets provided the seasons as well as the consciousness mood of the earth. I told y'all this is going to be a good presentation. Oh, for my folks who watching this at nighttime, oh man, major respect to y'all. First, they were very focused on the cosmic movements and nature because the sun provided because the sun provided light for life to exist. As the earth provided nourishment to grow, the planets provided the seasons as well as the consciousness mood of the earth. Listen to this. These they observed carefully and recorded as their own, and I quote, days and nights with different underlying moods and purposes affecting not only nature but all that lives. And for those who watch my channel, y'all know how I do. I wanted to make sense because I am talking to your soul. I am explaining to you how just like the plants and the animals, man is also orchestrated and synced in that same way. So let's read that one more time. I thank y'all for y'all patience. We are learning today. It is particularly focused on the end times as these Mayans allegedly took old ancient knowledge and advanced it as their science. First, they were very focused on the cosmic movements and nature because the sun provided light for life to exist. As the earth provided nourishment to grow, the planets provided the seasons as well as the consciousness mood of the earth. These they observed carefully and recorded as their own, and I quote, days and nights, end quote, with different underlying moods and purposes affecting not only nature, but all that lives. They saw this change the mood of the people as well. Let me say that again. They saw this change the mood of the people as well. And lastly, I'm going to say it again. The Mayans saw this change the mood of the people as well. But more important to them was they needed food. So they learned to pay attention to these moods of the universe to survive. Y'all all right out there, family? I'm gonna go ahead and take a nice sip of my tea. We're gonna learn today. Don't worry. The Mayan calendar therefore reflects the movement of these cosmic cycles of day and night, seasons and growth behavior of all life. They determined there were 13 periods called heavens. Listen up. The Mayans determined there were 13 periods called heavens. These were a way of describing the phases of growth found in all that lives. For example, from when a seed is planted, there are 7 days and 6 nights, each with a specific purpose, each with different lengths, depending on what underworld, quote, end quote, they belong to. Note that these days and nights were not like our 24-hour night and day, although they based these on cyclical patterns of celestial objects like the sun. These they called the 13 heavens, alternating from day to night, each affecting the process of natural growth from seeding to eventual flowering and reseeding. Y'all all right? I told you we're going to learn today, family. This is your story. You're going to find out how connected to the plants we are, how connected to the animals we truly are. You know, a lot of people are sending out videos nowadays of trees actually walking. Real talk. You seen it too, right? Yeah, there are TikTok videos out there on YouTube. Trees are actually walking, moving. Mother Nature is real. That new Avatar movie is going to come out soon. And once people go in the theaters and watch that, watch how connected they feel. Because Avatar connects you to Mother Nature. It connects you to Mother Nature. Gaia. Let's keep on going. The first heaven is day one, the sowing time when a seed is planted. The second heaven of night one is the time of inner assimilation, when it readies for transforming itself in preparation. Now, I want you to listen to this because as I'm breaking down this plant cycle, this human cycle, and this animal cycle, I want you to understand as we break this down as the Mayans did, this is you as well. This is you as well. As above, so below. As within, so without. So listen up. The first heaven is day one, the sowing time when a seed is planted. The second heaven, or night one, is the time of inner assimilation, when it readies for transformation itself in preparation for the third heaven of day two, of germination, when it begins to develop within Mother Earth to reach toward the sun. There is then heaven 4 or night 2 of resistance, as it must gain its power and eternal sustenance to force through to see the sun. You begin to see how the day is one of expansion, while the night is one of resistance or adjustment, each at a different phase of the growth. It is the mood of the Mother Earth that can affect this growth towards its fulfillment, as can the sun, which to them was the Father. Thank y'all for rocking with me. To the ones that truly watching this and truly getting this knowledge, I can feel your energy. I'm so grateful. Thank you. You are greater than they have ever told you, and it's time for you to know that. The next heaven 5, day 3, is when it sprouts, the first time to emerge to see Father Sun, and now the earth and the sun work together to provide nourishment below and life energy above to the new plant. As it begins to grow, it must adjust itself to the new world around it and assimilate through the heaven 6, which is night 3. To adjust itself properly, as it so does, it enters the heaven 7, next day 4, which is to proliferate itself through the new energy of the sun. It then enters the next heaven 8, or night 4, as it attempts to expand itself to be what it was meant to be. During the heaven 9, day 5, it is the time of budding, for its main purpose to produce. Heaven 10, night 5, is at a time of destruction, as the plant now must place all of its energy into producing its flower. If it is to flourish, of course. Heaven 11, and yes it does, says heaven 11, or day 6, is when the plant flourishes into flowering. Heaven 12, night 6, is when it must fine-tune itself to blossom to its fullest. And finally, heaven 13, day 7, is the fruition, when its bounty is in the form of seeds is completed. When its bounty in the form of seeds is completed. Each heaven is dependent on the mood of the sun and Mother Earth as to what they can provide to support growth to maturity. And I hope y'all are with me as I'm breaking this down. You know, you can always rewind. Each day and night brings a new phase of challenge and growth. Ain't that the true family? Each day and night brings a new phase of challenge and growth as its very purpose and its essence toward its final purpose change. The elements of fire, earth, water, and air are all vital to the success, as are the internal abilities of the plant to grow. This is getting very powerful. I know y'all feel me on this one. Its will to live and survive is its very essence or spirit. They saw, the Mayans saw this as its consciousness. Their wisdom taught that all life abides by this. All life, including man, whose essence or his consciousness are influenced by the moods of the cosmos and the sun and the earth, whether they understand it or not. And at this moment, I want you guys to sit. I'm going to read it again, but I got to sit back, and I want you guys to sit back and think about what I just said, because I'm going to read it again. Because the Christ energy is here. Christ consciousness is here. Christ never left you. It's always been within you. The Christ that came 2,000 years ago, whether you call him Jesus, whether you call him Yeshua, whether you call him Saint Issa, has always told you that within you is God, the divine spark. You need to understand this at this time in the age of Aquarius. 2,000 years ago was the age of Pisces, which was religion, the preachings of Jesus. Jesus told you in the age of Aquarius that everything was going to be within. I'm going to break this down because we're only in 40 minutes. I haven't even told you how hard this goes in on time. So let me read that again. I thank y'all for rocking with me at 41 minutes. Hit the like button, leave a comment, show some love. Listen to this because this is your story too. Each day and night, listen family, because this is your story too. Each day and night brings a new phase of challenge and growth as its very purpose and its essence towards its final purpose change. The elements of fire, earth, water, and air are all vital to the success, as are the internal abilities. I'm not preaching to you, I'm reaching to you. I know it seems hard out here sometimes, family. I know it seems hard out here, and they say it's mental health issues. It's not mental health issues. You know where the mental health comes from, family? From preachers, and no disrespect, no shade, but it's got to be called for what it is. These churches who have not given, whether they know it or whether they didn't know it, but did not give the congregation the whole pie of what spirituality is, the true, the whole window view of who Christ really was. He was more than a man that came down here and worked a couple miracles. I advise you guys to research Apollonius of Tyana, a man that was around the same time of Christ, that did the same things that Christ did around the same time that Christ did them. There are people like Krishna, Lord Shiva, these people, Pythagoras, there are people like that. Even your St. Paul, these are all enlightened people, so this is nothing new. 2,000 years ago, you shouldn't be thinking that technology is going to run you, that what your preacher or bishop or reverend told you was that you should take for face value without researching yourself. You are connected to Mother Nature. How can you talk about the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit without knowing that the Holy Spirit is really the Divine Mother, which represents the wisdom inside your Bible, which is the mother of the demiurge that you worship in your Bible? Her name is Sophia the Wisdom. If this knowledge and these words that I'm talking to you right now seems confusing, then that's an issue because you have not even touched spiritually who you are, is all I'm saying at this moment. Let me continue. Each day and night brings a new phase of challenge and growth as its very purpose and its essence towards its final purpose, change. The elements of fire, earth, water, and air are all vital to the success, as are the eternal abilities of the plant to grow. Its will to live and survive is its very essence or spirit. The Mayans saw this as its consciousness. Their wisdom taught that all life abides by this. All life, including man, whose essences or his consciousness are influenced by the moods of the cosmos and the sun and the earth, whether they understand it or not. Those zodiacs run you until you know that they don't run you. Get it? Let's go. It is because the essence of man, the consciousness, is part of the God of all that exists. It, like the Mother Earth and the Sun, are all living things which are themselves going through the same phases. I'm not going to hold too much of your time out. I'm not going to hold too much of your time out. Are you getting what I'm saying? And for those who don't know, esoteric, ESOTERIC, once you Google it, it will show you that that is the hidden knowledge. That was what Jesus was teaching to his disciples. The mass people, the public, Jesus was teaching in what they call esoteric. That's EXOTERIC. If you Google that, that will let you know that exoteric is the knowledge that is meant for the masses. For my church going, my Christians, my religious people in general, what I am trying to tell you that all your life in these churches, from Sunday school all the way on to adult school and church, you have only been given the exoteric. That means that every story that you have read in your church is only the stories that were meant for the masses. Well, what about the exoteric, the esoteric? Well, that was only meant for people like Jesus' disciples, people in mystery schools back in the Egyptian days, Atlantis days, and even before then in Lemuria, and before then, the initiates, the people who knew the secret and can keep it. Christ was a magician, amongst many things, amongst many other magicians before and in his time. They didn't want to tell you that because if they did, family, guess what? You're going to be walking around here using your magic. And if you do that, how is the big bad government going to restrain you, going to put taxes on you, going to poison you, or everything that they do, allegedly? So, I want you to understand that first and foremost. So let's read that again. I promise you I'm not going to tear you on too much longer. Each day and night brings a new phase of challenge and growth as its very purpose, and its essence towards its final purpose change. The elements of fire, earth, water, and air are all vital to the success, as are the internal abilities of the plant to grow. Its will to live and survive is its very essence or spirit. They saw this as its consciousness. Their wisdom taught that all life abides by this. All life, including man, whose essence are his consciousness, are influenced by the moods of the cosmos and the sun and the earth, whether they understand this or not. It is because the essence of man, the consciousness, is part of the God of all that exist. It, like the Mother Earth and the Sun, are all living things which are themselves going through the same phases. All of life behaves according to this grand plan. All are subject to their influences as they change their position around us, just as they determine the way a seed will grow. They determine the way a man will grow and mature and develop his own essence. What they also determined was that there was a whole set of other time periods in their calendar called underworlds. What the Mayans also determined was that there was a whole set of time periods. My gosh. Y'all listening? What they also determined was that there was a whole set of other time periods in their calendar called underworlds. Each period is itself a stage of complete evolution on a larger scale. The period of 13 heavens is a underworld. There are 9 underworlds of different lengths. The shortest is the universal underworld of 260 days, our days. The next longest is what they call the galactic underworld, which is 20 times longer than the universal, and so on. Again, each underworld is made up of the 13 heavens. At the start of each one, a major level of evolution in consciousness starts, then goes through the 13 heavens, maturing progressively like the plants. Let's keep it going. When the end phase of each underworld is reached, meaning the 13th heaven of fruition, a new underworld that is 20 times shorter in length begins as the first day of sowing. It is like when one underworld produces a seed that can then go through the heavens 20 times faster. Thus, during the last period of the planetary seventh day, the seeding of the first day in the galactic period may occur. At the last 7 day in the galactic, a new seed is created to be sown to begin the universal period. When all 9 underworlds are complete, a new period where there is no time begins. Let me read that part again, family. When all 9 underworlds are complete, a new period where there is no time begins. We in 15 minutes. And to my family who is watching this now, I know y'all like doing the Birdman rub. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Let's read that again. A new period now, it says at the last, well, here we go. When all 9 underworlds are complete, a new period where there is no time begins. Each one has a specific consciousness, function, and sets the foundation for the next shorter one, 20 times shorter. And they all end at the same time. That is what the Mayans saw as the end times, as their calendar ceased and went into a period of no time. We have just broke down the 2012 Mayan knowledge about the calendar. Holy shit. Tell a friend and tell a friend to hit that like button and share. I'm going to read that again slowly so you can understand what is happening, what the ancients knew, and why time is going the way it is. Let's go read that again. I got time. If you got time, then I got time. When the end phase, let's go. When the end phase of each underworld is reached, meaning the 13th heaven of fruition, a new underworld that is 20 times shorter in length begins as the first day of sowing. It is like when one underworld produces a seed that can then go through the heavens 20 times faster. Thus, the last period of the planetary seventh day, the seeding of the first day in the galactic period may occur. At the last 7 day in the galactic, a new seed is created to be sown to begin the universal period. When all 9 underworlds are complete, a new period where there is no time begins. Each one has a specific consciousness, function, and sets the foundation for the next shorter one, 20 times shorter. As they all end at the same time. That is what the Mayans saw as the end times, as their calendar ceased and went into a period of no time. Birdman rub. It is the last one of 260 days that is of the interest as it begins. Let's read that again slowly because it's about to get real. Not even real. It's about to get real. It is the last one of 260 days that is of interest as it began on March 9th, 2011. It is the last one of 260 days that is of interest as it began on March 9th, 2011. And to my family out there, man, let me know through the comments. Wasn't Biggie, was Biggie's death on March 9th or was his birth? March 9th, a number just seemed to stick out. Well, now I'm going to have to look it up soon. But let me read that again. It is this last one of 260 days that is of interest, as it began on March 9, 2011, and terminates fruition on October 28, 2011. 11 years ago. Recently, this has been adjusted by the expert on this to 18 of our days for each heaven to total 234 days. What is notable is that there is an acceleration as time speeds up. What this means is that the aspect of consciousness pertaining to each heaven speeds up its evolution by 20 times for each underworld, which we will call a wave. In other words, as much as we learned in the last wave of 12.8 years will be learned in the current wave of 234 days. Ugh. This universal underworld is the final transformation of consciousness and it is what is referred to as the ninth wave. Yes, I am going to read that again because I wanted to make sense. Because I know y'all with me, but like I said, I love breaking it down to you so you can understand fully what I'm saying. No stuttering, no breaking in the voice, sipping on this good tea. Thank y'all for watching and enjoying this. It is this last one of 260 days that is of interest, as it began on March 9th, 2011, and terminates fruition on October the 28th, 2011. Recently, this has been adjusted by the experts on this to 18 of our days for each heaven, to total 234 days. What is notable is that there is an acceleration as time speeds up. What this means is that the aspect of consciousness pertaining to each heaven speeds up its evolution by 20 times for each underworld, which we will call a wave. In other words, as much as we learned in the last wave of 12.8 years will be learned in the current wave of 234 days. This universal underworld is the final transformation of consciousness, and it is what is referred to as a ninth wave. The prophecy about these end times, when these all end together, is that this is a great change in the consciousness of humanity as they approach the fruition of all underworlds. It will be a time when the consciousness of man has no association with time. It is the time of the revealing and the entry to a new age, as the rebirth starts from the seed of the last underlying underworld. At that time, the world is without time, and consciousness of man would have evolved to its ultimate point of fruition. This means it is up to those who are left to start creating the new world and the new civilization. It will be a period where man will be one with nature and Mother Earth. And the solar system will come into galactic synchronization with the rest of the universe. Those left will be transformed as they pass through the center of the cosmos. All will be one, and the material will be balanced with spirit. It was called Hanab Ku in Mayan. That's Hunabku. It is referred to as the unity consciousness. Now I'm going to stop there. I want to give a major respect, all praise due to the Divine Mother. I want to give a major respect, all praises due to the Divine Father, and all praises and respect to the Divine Christ. We are one, like Frankie Beverly May said. We are a unified consciousness. Until we discover that we are unified consciousness, this world will continue to be in a disalignment. I'm going to read that last part again. Make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment. This is the DarusCorbin Mystery School. Class is definitely in session. I want you to wake up every day. Wake up ready to win. Wake up to realize that you are the greatest aspect of you. Or are you? I want you to know that in order to discover who God is, you must discover who you are. For you discovering who you are, then you will truly discover who God is. Now, I'm going to leave out and leave off by reading this one more again. Once again, share it, hit the like button, subscribe. You see it. You see it. You see it. The prophecy about these end times, when these all end together, is that this is a great change in the consciousness of humanity, as they approach the fruition of all underworlds. It will be a time when the consciousness of man has no association with time. We are living in a time, my family, where time is going to be no longer an issue. Why? Let's read on. It will be a time when the consciousness of man has no association with time. It is the time of the revealing and the entry to a new age as the rebirth starts from the seed of the last underlying underworld. At that time, the world is without time and the consciousness of man would have evolved to its ultimate point of fruition. This means it is up to those who are left to start creating the new world and the new civilization. It would be a period where man would be one with nature and Mother Earth. And the solar system will come into galactic synchronization with the rest of the universe. Those left will be transformed as they pass through the center of the cosmos. All will be one. And the material will be balanced with the spirit. It was called Hunab and Mayan, Hunabku. It is referred to as the unity consciousness. Just hitting the hour. I want to thank y'all for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Nothing but love always. Peace, love, and light. PDF this book. Get a sample of it. Once you read the table of contents, holla at me. And before you holler at me, order this book. All right? Peace and love to my family. It's always a pleasure. Next presentation is even going more and more amazing. Peace, family.